What up, people? Welcome to the Push It Wild Black Show. I am your host, Push It Wild Black, aka Chris, if you hear my government name in one of these. And this is my official podcast debut. This was a audio podcast on YouTube, but because of YouTube's new policies, I'm going to expand the brand. And this is basically a show about sports and other things from a disabled black man's perspective, hence the name of the show. And I'm going to talk about today the way the Bears pissed away the Green Bay game, because that's exactly what happened, and the way the Cowboys played, or we were sold they were going to play, earlier today. Now, this channel started off as same kind of thing. It was sports centered with a little bit of advocacy there, here or there, so to stick to sports people, you will have days that you won't download my stuff, or you won't listen to a show here or there. I hope that that's not the case, because if I do have an advocacy thing or whatever else I want to talk about for 30 minutes or so, I hope you will listen. But anyway, when this started out, this was a Cowboys channel. So I'm from Chicago originally. I spent half my life in Dallas. So all my people are Cowboy fans. So when this channel when this was started on YouTube, it was a Cowboys recap show / NBA thing. Now, since I'm in Chicago now, I still kind of follow the Cowboys when I can, but the local team is the Bears. I'm a Bears fan, so last season I did Bears stuff. This season I will continue to do Bears stuff. If I can catch a Cowboy game like I did today, or one of my friends decides to rant for a good 10 minutes or so, he's going to be on here. So, and one person in particular anyway. So, that's the intro to this. And I already recorded the Cowboys part of this. That'll be later. And I'm going to talk about the Bears game now. I don't know what happened. We were told anyway, that the offense was going to change. If you follow me on YouTube and follow the progress of the Bears last year, or you're Bears fans in general, the offense was trash last year. They didn't know what they wanted to do. DALvsCAR really wasn't inventive. John Fox wasn't inventive. They didn't want Trubisky to play. He wasn't supposed to play. And when he was out there, when he had to play because Mike Glennon was trash, then they kind of made sure that he didn't do much. Today, the offense was his. They ran a whole bunch of stuff. Matt Nagy, the former Kansas City Chiefs offense coordinator, he knows what he wants to do. He knows how he wants to coach. We know the offense that he wants to run. He wants to run pass option. There's going to be there was a lot of running with the quarterback, not Michael Vick's style, but he was able to take off and run. He was able to be an athlete. There was a lot of weapons added. There was a coaching brain trust added around Trubisky. It seems like they know what they want to do. I have issues with how Mr. Trubisky got here, though. I think we're in the middle of, I think he's a year and a half away from the time he got drafted. He got drafted last year. He was overdrafted last year. He was the second most raw prospect in his draft class. The Bears overdrafted, and they gave a lot to get him. And he played half a season, and we're in the season where he's the key. The offense is his, and he's figuring it out. And if the offense goes how he goes. If he's good, then yeah. If he's bad, then this is going to be a long season. And it's not going to be as long as it was last year, but they had a couple of good drives. They had one good drive in the first half, and then they stopped. And they had a couple of good drives in the second half, and then Mr. Trubisky fumbled the ball. There was no picks. I think he had like 170 yards passing. The problem that I have with this, because truth be told, I didn't think the Bears were going to win this game. Okay? Now, I think the Bears are going to go, if the Bears go 8-8 this season, then we have had a successful season. There are people in Chicago media here that think that the Bears should go to the playoffs or they should challenge for the playoffs. The Packers are still the class of the division, as illustrated by earlier tonight. I haven't seen Detroit yet. I don't trust the Lions. I don't trust Matthew Stafford. Don't trust Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is probably going to be... Kirk Cousins is like... And I do bull stuff too, and I do basketball breakdowns too during basketball season. Kirk Cousins is probably going to prove me wrong, like Jimmy Butler proved me wrong, because Kirk Cousins is in a better situation. I watched Kirk Cousins his entire career while in Washington. And while he's better than RG3 is, or was, other than that one season, which is one of the reasons why he won the job, Kirk Cousins can throw you in a game and Kirk Cousins can throw you out of a game. Now he's in a better situation with more talent around him. So depending on what they ask him to do with the Vikings, it may be the Vikings and or Green Bay as number 2 in one in the division. I don't see where the Bears are going to end up making the playoffs. I don't see it. And if the defense stops like they stopped today in the second half, because they were rolling in the first half. The rush was there. Khalil Mack was frustrating people. Aaron Rodgers was hearing footsteps. Fumbles were being caused. Everything was awesome, right? And then Aaron Rodgers comes out. I don't know what was said. Aaron Rodgers comes out in the second half, and they got to him, but not as much. And he was able to get passes off. And if the defense is going to be stopped in half games like this, maybe this is just an anomaly, but I don't know, man. Like I'm glad offensively they're okay and they know what to do. I think that was a blip as far as as far as it being a young quarterback and young receiving core. They're going to win 3 extra games because the coaching staff knows what to do and they have an offense now. I just don't know if they're going to be a playoff team or not. Like I said, if they finish 8-8 this season with Mr. Trubisky as a full-time starter, that's a successful season. And next year is the season where we become world beaters. Because right now, the secondary showed there was whatever that 80-yard reception was frustratingly bad. That secondary got torched, and Aaron Rodgers was able to basically bring them back from. They had no points in the first half. None. It was 20-0. And they basically kept them out the end zone. Like, Bears had 2 field goals the second half. And Aaron Rodgers wasn't able to be stopped in the second half on a bum knee. I don't know, man. Like, offensively, they know what to do. They look better, but I don't know if Mr. Trubisky's good. I don't know if Mr. Trubisky's bad. I don't really know if we have a dominant wide receiver yet. Allen Robinson III is supposed to be that dominant receiver. I think he had like 60 yards. So it will seem more balanced. And like I said, they know what to do. But toward the end, Mr. Trubisky was going off of instinct and running around and throwing a lot of incompletions. And there was a couple tip balls that was almost a pick. So I don't know how good Mr. Trubisky is. I don't know how good the defense is. Yeah, we got a pass rusher now, one of the best in the league. But I don't know if this defense is going to carry us to the playoffs. Not in this division. This entire division have very good defenses. The Packers have an okay defense. The Packers have an okay defense. The Lions have an okay defense. The Vikings have probably next to us the best defense in the division. So this is going to be a very defensive oriented division. And I don't see the Bears coming out of that with more than 8 wins. If we even get to 8 wins. They might get to 7 wins this season. And if they get to 7 wins this season, it's a good season. I think we have to wait for the playoffs one more year. I think this is a year to let Mr. Trubisky figure it out and to let Matt Nagy figure out how to be a coach. Because there were some management situations that I saw today that I really wasn't feeling. But this is all new. This is all shiny. If you follow me on Twitter, which I encourage you guys to follow me on Twitter, I was it was a roller coaster of emotions, and it was a roller coaster of emotions, and it was very frustrating toward the end. When your quarterback that everybody is saying is the next Aaron Rodgers, he only throws for 171, and Aaron Rodgers, the dude that he's compared to, throws for 300, almost 300. I think he was like 286. And on a bum knee, yeah, man, I'm good. I think we need to chill out for a year, for a while. Like, I want to see what they do next game. Khalil Mack was awesome. The pass rush first half was good. Offensive line for Green Bay woke up, and they protected Aaron enough to where he can get plays off, and that's all they needed, because he's one of the best to ever do it. Either he's one of the best to ever do it, or our defense isn't as good as we think it is, or Chicago people think it is, or the Bears are just snake bitten and they can't do anything right in Lambeau Field. But anyway, that's all I got to say with the Bears and such. The next part of this is you're going to hear the conversation that I had with one of my closest friends, my former co-host, and the Rant Sport and Fitness's own Minyon Garrett. He called me as soon as the Cowboy game ended, and I wanted to get his initial thoughts on the show. So he was walking his dog, and he gave me about a good 30 minutes or so. So if you hear a dog barking or him speaking to a neighbor. That's what happens when you're walking your dog in suburbia and you get pulled in for an interview. So anyway, enjoy. A couple things before I go though. Follow me on Twitter, Pushing Wild Black Vlog, PWB Vlogs. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube and Facebook. I have a Facebook channel. It's all the same. Pushing Wild Black out. Later, people. See you next week.
Good.
All right, dude. So, what do you think about the whole thing?
Well, okay. For the first season of the game, you don't want to come out looking that raggedy. Okay.
All right.
I'll say that. Offensively, the Cowboys have a lot of work to do, man. I mean, and we'll start with position, and I'll start with Dak on offense. He's tap dancing in the backfield. He wasn't getting a lot of. I'll stick up for him at this point, to this degree.
Right.
That he wasn't getting a lot of time in the pocket. But, however, the times that he did get a lot of time in the pocket, he was overthrowing the ball. He was making bonehead decisions when it came to checking down on receivers and just not audible and out of certain things. I just feel like he checked out, man. And that's how I feel about it. I mean, as far as his gameplay, it's not what the Cowboys needed.
Well, it looked like to me that they tried to force Zeke down the throats of everybody, and it didn't work at all. So then it was, okay, we're going to see if we're going to do this wide receiver by committee thing, and that wasn't really working. I don't know how you stretch in the field. I don't know if they want to stretch the field. I don't know if they can.
No, they do. That's the thing. They want to be able to stretch the field. But the problem is they don't know what receiver to do that with. They don't have the confidence to know what receiver to do that with.
Right.
And if you don't have the confidence to say, okay, well, I can't. Hearns really isn't. If Dak can't get the ball to Hearns, and he's going to try to be the number one guy, or Beasley's going to try to be the number one guy. I'm sorry, I didn't see any number ones out there today.
I didn't either. And to me, if you're Jason Garrett, man, for real,
yeah.
I get what Dez was saying, because it's okay, if Beasley's the number one receiver, why is he still catching the balls up the middle?
Because they're not confident with him going upfield.
Where's your deep threat at? Because all summer we were reading articles and we were hearing that Hearns was gonna be that dude, and the third round pick, what's his name? Gallup? He was gonna be that dude, and they didn't stretch the field, man. And you know what I noticed? Because you mentioned earlier about about Dak and his tap dancing.
Right.
See, here's the thing, because quite honestly, Carolina didn't play a good game either. And I'm not saying they were a worse team than the Cowboys. That's not my point. My point is that there was a
It's okay.
that there was a new.
Hold on, Chris.
Okay.
1 second. Hey, it's a cute puppy. She little poop ran up on Zoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you, because you mentioned the tap dancing thing, and what I was saying about Carolina is not that Carolina was a better, they played a better game today. It's just that they Cam Newton can run the ball. They were talking about I remember like early in the game. Yeah, I remember they were early in the game, and Troy Aikman was like, well, I don't know if they're going to run the ball because North Turner is going to have him in play action, Cam in play action, and getting rid of the ball in 3 seconds. And it was, bro, in real talk, it was, okay, we going to try that, but then Cam's going to run the ball. And Cam's going to do what he does.
That's the whole plan with him now.
So,
because North Turner understands that system.
Right.
He understands. You got you a big quarterback that can run. You know, that's like putting a steak in front of somebody's face. You know, and I mean, really, and Dallas could not stop it.
Right.
They could not stop it.
But dude, like the parallel between the Cowboys and the Panthers, like Funches was their number one receiver in Carolina, but you know he was injured, and it's not like he's a dominant receiver anyway. That was a balanced attack the Carolina had. The difference is they knew what they were doing. They tried what North Turner wanted to do, and then they just kind of let Cam be Cam. And it seemed like with Dak, it was like, okay, the Zeke situation ain't working. I know they want to run the ball, and it was like, okay, we're gonna stop those counters. We're gonna stop him running up the middle, and he's gonna have to figure it out. And it seemed like their best running attack really was when the defense was tired for Carolina, and when those broken plays broke down, and Dak was able to run a little bit. And it's like, okay, and it seemed like he was scared to run. Like the last offensive play, I was like, dude, run, move.
Well, you know, man, you know what it is? He took a shot earlier in the game.
Okay.
And it was one of the footsteps shots where his back was turned and he didn't know it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And that cornerback clocked him.
Mm-hmm.
Really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell from that hit, when they showed his face, he was like,
where are we going?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
what's happening?
It didn't feel good. Yeah. So
bro,
I
like
don't know where to go with him, Chris, right now. I don't. I mean, as far as this is the first game, but I'll tell you this. You can't bench your players to a certain degree in the preseason and expect them to come out.
I'm watching because the Bears is on right now. They go into the field right now. It's on mute because I'm not trying to get stuff. But the Bears didn't play any of their starters in the third preseason game and the fourth preseason game. Matt Nagy was like, yeah, we had all these practices and everything's going to be awesome. They need to be, look, I'm not expecting the Bears to, and this part of the show is being recorded before the game starts, okay? So I'm not expecting the Bears to win the game. What I am expecting the Bears to do is to be sharp, because quite honestly, what I saw with the Cowboys, they were not sharp at all. And Carolina wasn't either. It's the first game, I get it. But Carolina wasn't sharp either. And they could have won that game, or they could have at least made it a lot more competitive, the Cowboys, if they were prepared. And it didn't seem like they were prepared. It didn't seem like Garrett knew how to adjust to what was happening. But again, that's the new Tom Landry, right? That's the wonderkind that I've been hearing about for how many years he's been a coach now? An offensive coordinator? The dude
been what, 11 years already?
The dude that's had to have two offensive coordinators at the same time. That's the guy that I really, really don't want to, because I sound like a Cowboy fan when I go off on these tangents about him. I really don't like the way he coaches. I just don't. And I figured he, like, because last year, or the year before last, when Tony got hurt, and I blame Jason Garrett and his coaching philosophy with Tony Romo for the reason he got all them injuries. Because he was putting Romo in really, really bad situations. The reverse is happening now. And to be quite honest, his original plan of we're gonna run Zeke and that's gonna be the team. Okay, that's cool. But if the defense is going to just put 8 men in the box and shift so they can knock the corner play out, because that's all that happened. That's all that happened. They put 8 men in the box and they shifted the line. As soon as they sent like 3 dudes, every time there was a counter play, they sent 2 dudes at Zeke right away. So now they don't have. So now basically off of like the passing game, you gotta stretch the field. You have to. Like, you gotta send somebody out. If Beasley is gonna be your number 1 receiver, now he's gonna be your number 1 receiver by default anyway, because that's his blanket. That's Dak's blanket. That's his blanket. That's who he's comfortable with. You gotta.
They shouldn't have let Daz go, bro.
I know, bro.
They
like.
shouldn't have let him go. and I'll say that, man. Now, if they turn everything around and things get a whole lot better, I'll eat my words. I'll eat what I said. But they shouldn't have let him go.
But dude, you gotta define better though, because what I said in the group on Facebook, bro, is that this is gonna be a long season and they're still gonna finish second in the division. The Cowboys are still gonna finish second in the division. Fam, have you seen the other games in the division?
Yeah, man.
Bro, I'm sorry, dude, but it's Philly and y'all. Period. It's Philly and Cowboys. That's it. And Philly, really, as long as Wentz is hurt and not playing.
When is he coming back?
Probably they're evaluating him week to week. So he might be back this week. He might be back, or week 2, or he might be back week 3. I'm not exactly sure. But as long as he's like it's week to week with him, and they got Foles playing, bro. Like, I'm good. Like, really, I'm good. Like, I haven't seen the Redskins. I don't trust Alex Smith. Okay, the Lions are competitive, but not the Lions. The Giants are competitive, but again, you have defense and quarterback issues against the Giants. The Jaguars are going to be a problem, but there's nobody in this division until Carson Wentz comes back. There's nobody in the NFC East that's going to take over that division. So what's going to end up happening is, to me, I'm telling you, Minyon, what's going to end up happening is the Cowboys, because of that defense, because that defense will carry. There will be games where the defense will carry the Cowboys to victory. I'm going to say that right now. Because they played their butt offs today, and it didn't matter because they couldn't do anything. So what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up finishing like second in the division. It'll be another 8-8, 7-9, or 7-9 or 9-7 season. And it doesn't matter because Philly will be healthy and they'll win the division. But Cowboy fans will be like, but we 1 year away and we're almost there. And it's like, no, you're not, unless something changes. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is.
And my post earlier, I was my post earlier was pretty much talking about the playoffs, any early playoff predictions. I'm sorry, I had a long pause there. Somebody tried to back the car up on me. But
Wow. Wow.
in the neighborhood.
Right.
So that was my whole reference earlier, and in that post I put earlier during the day, even before the Cowboy game.
Yeah, I saw it.
Because I'm thinking in my head, I knew the Cowboys were going to lose this game. I just knew it. Because you have too many new pieces to walk out there and know you're going to win. You don't have, your receiving core is brand new. Besides maybe 2 people.
Right. Like, and one of which was hurt off most of the season last year.
Right. Exactly. And then your tight end, Swamp, is seeing more looks now. So
and then, where was Gathers at? Where was Gathers at? Where was he at?
That's the thing, man. They gonna have to, man, Cowboys, their drawing board come tomorrow, they're gonna have to figure some stuff out. Cause
I'm with Aikman. I'm like, okay, where's the red zone threat? Because Gathers was supposed to be a red zone threat, and he's not. So what happened?
Right.
But to be quite up, bro, this is gonna be like I said, man. Like I said in the group earlier, this is going to be the season. The season is going to be very, very long. It is. It's going to be very long. You better hope. Cause see, and now what's going to end up happening now is people are going to be like, this is going to be Dak's fault. And it's not. It's not.
No,
it's not his fault.
It's not his fault.
Cause you can run what they tried to do today. You can run that and basically you have a receiver, or you have a couple receivers that can do yards after catch, and everything's fine.
Right.
Okay? You might not win a Super Bowl that way, but you're going to get 10 games. You're going to get to the playoffs. You're going to challenge for, like NFC crown or something like that. See Alex Smith in Kansas City when he was there. See Alex Smith with the Redskins and what they hope he can bring to the Redskins. Because watch, it's gonna be the same thing. Alex Smith don't have an arm like that, but you're hoping that You're hoping that he can come and they can kind of do a similar thing. But this isn't Dak's fault. This is you have a coach that doesn't know how to adjust to things. And you have a coach that won't, I'm not saying turn Dak Prescott into Cam Newton. That's not what I'm saying. But he needs to take off.
Yeah, he does.
He needs to take off and run. That's another avenue. Now, I know they don't want to see Cooper Rush.
No, they don't.
I know they don't want to see that. But something needs to happen, man, because the broken plays because he had a lot of lanes, man, and that last play I was like, Dak, move. And when that sack happened, I was like, well, that's it. It's over.
How you doing? She won't get you. Yeah.
So, man, dude, I'm like, this is not, this is gonna be a long season, man.
It's gonna be a long.
And as I'm watching, the beginnings of the Bears game, it didn't start it yet. But as I'm watching Mitchell Trubisky play catch and everything, I just want the Bears to be sharp, because what I saw today is not being sharp at all. It's second seed. I'm telling you, man, 8-8, 9-7 for the Cowboys this season, second in the division. And I guarantee you Cowboy fans will be like, we close. I'm like, no, you're not. But your division is so bad, it's not going to matter. Which has been my biggest criticism of Cowboy fans and the franchise, man, since we've known each other. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if they're 8-8 or if they're whatever. You're not gonna win a Super Bowl that way. And they gotta figure something out, man. So, from what I saw this week, and really too, what trips me out before I get on this game, what trips me out is like it just I just look at them like, okay, they're doubling Beasley. They're like, bruh, they're Bracken and Beasley now.
Right, yeah, they are.
It's like they gotta do something. Like I was amazed that I'm like, okay, you didn't have an idea, you didn't have a plan for Dez not being there, you didn't have a plan for the tight end plan at all. Like, really? This what we're doing?
Yeah, that's that. And you know what though? It doesn't shock me because it really doesn't shock me because the way that I look at it is, if you evaluate the Cowboys and what they were 2 years ago compared to what they have now, Chris, that roster that Dak took over
Was a Ferrari.
was what?
It was a Ferrari.
Yes, it was a Ferrari. Now, what happened, dog? Like, think about it.
Everybody left.
What? Exactly. Everybody left, man. Everybody. Now, see, that's the point. That's the part that trips me out. It's because it's kind of like Mark Cuban's move with the Mavs, even though the Dallas didn't win a championship. But it's almost like that.
Right.
You had all this talent, and you decided to re-up and refresh things because you thought it was broken.
Well, he didn't want to. That was a situation where he didn't want to pay the luxury tax. Remember, he was like, I don't want to bring everybody back because, first of all, again, what no one wants to talk about that championship, and we're gonna shift to basketball for 30 seconds. That wasn't supposed to happen. That wasn't supposed to at all. That was an accident. That was a happy accident. And I will go to my grave saying that championship, as good as it was for the city, that wasn't supposed to happen. That was the beginning of the dynasty. That was the LeBron Heat, LeBron and D Wade Heat. That wasn't supposed to happen. It was LeBron and D Wade, basically LeBron, figuring out, okay, I got to be that dude now. And Mark Cuban knew it. He's never gonna admit it. But if you didn't know it, if you didn't know it, why did you break that up? He broke that up because he knew what the situation was. Here's the difference with the Cowboys. Wynn was going to retire. That was the thing that if you follow guys on the Fan, if you follow guys in Dallas sports media, Ben from the Ben and Skin Show had this like for a while. He just didn't say anything. That was something that Wynn had been talking about for a while. The job opened up, and I'm seeing the rush. We're gonna have a good defense. Anyway, like the win situation, that was there. Okay, that's something that they should have figured out, beforehand. But they didn't. If you're gonna let Dez go because of a locker room issue, okay, I get you, but it didn't seem like they was prepared because really, at least because dude, basically, they should have won that game. Cowboys should have won that game. It was nothing that this was not a blowout. This was not like an outclassed. Cowboys were not outclassed. This wasn't one of those situations, okay? Cowboys should have won that game. I'm just going to say it, okay? And they didn't because they weren't prepared. And if you're telling me that even though Dez lost a step, even though Dez was having catching problems. You're telling me that threat wouldn't be important today?
Sure.
Come on, man. And my thing is, you can let Dez go. You can. Matter of fact, let's talk about one other thing. Why did you let your best kicker in franchise history go to get a guy that missed the field goal today? Badly.
Right.
It wasn't even close. It was a bad miss. Why did you do that?
Oh no.
This wasn't even, bro. Like, this wasn't even about like. This wasn't even about like, I don't want to pay the luxury tax or whatever. This was just, I don't even know what this was. They let people go that like, okay, they let people go because of locker room issues, or Bailey was hurt or whatever, or Wynn retired, and no one was prepared. At least with Cuban, as dumb as the plan was, his plan was, we gonna break everything down because I don't want to pay the luxury tax, because I know this was, I knew that championship was nonsense. So I'm going to not pay anybody, not bring anybody back, have a bunch of 1-year contracts, and then we gonna get Darren Williams and we gonna get Dwight Howard and everything's gonna be good. And when that didn't happen, we gonna try to bring everybody back to try to get the playoffs again. Because after a couple of seasons where it didn't work, then you bring Tyson Chandler back. Like, remember when everything didn't work? He was saying stuff like, Cuban was saying stuff like, because he missed the meeting with Darren Williams and what's the name went to Houston. He went to Houston later that season, and then you blame Jason Kidd for the whole not getting people thing. Like a year later, he tried to bring the band back together, and it didn't work. This wasn't even a situation. You're basically giving it, because you've basically said with the Cowboys, Dak Prescott is our Dak Prescott and Zeke is our franchise, and the center situation being hurt, even though that's a thing, it didn't look like it was. It didn't look like that was a major issue. The major issue that I saw, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the major issue that I saw was like the fact that they seemed lost and they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it was, man. There's no other way to explain it. Is it?
No, not at all. Not at all,
mean,
bro. It was bad. It was not
bad, dude. There's no. I can't even be mad, Chris.
No.
Because I had already prepared myself for this. Like, I already knew what it was gonna be.
Right.
The moment I saw the Cowboys schedule, I knew it. I said, yeah, they're not gonna win week 1. It's not gonna happen. They made too many changes.
But dude, this is the frustrating part. When you watch the games, it's like Carolina didn't do shit either.
Right.
Like, you could have won this game. Like, that's the frustrating part.
Enough to win.
Huh?
They did just enough to win.
That's what I'm saying. And you're looking at the situation like, really?
But that tells you the dynamic of each team, though. Because the Cowboys, when they play just good enough to win kind of ball,
yeah,
that's when you know their season is going to be bad. And when they play the way they did today, you know their season is going to be even worse.
Right.
If it continues. Like, it's just going to be one of them years, and we're going to have to hear, well, it's all about a process.
But I'm real talk, man. I know it'll never happen. Because Jerry and Steven are stupid in this regard. But, bro, if they don't go 8-8, man, because, again, this division is not awesome. If they don't go 8-8, man, if they don't finish second in the division, You gotta fire Jason Garrett. You got to. You got to, man. And it really sounds like I'm being a bully about this, bro, but he's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it just, and you know, that documentary I was telling you about,
Mm-hmm.
when you watch the documentary, you'll change your thoughts a little bit on Jason Garrett, because he can only, I'll say this, in watching that documentary,
Mm-hmm.
the people around him really aren't his chosen people.
It's not gonna be good, man. And I'm just like, I can't talk to certain people about it because, you know, everybody's gonna be sipping on the Kool-Aid and stuff, or really, really mad. So we can't have deep conversations. And then when they get 8-8, it's gonna be like, Cowboys are good. It's like, no, they're not. They're no. I do think though, what needs to happen in the next like couple of weeks, it's recording now, by the way, so don't mention the other thing. Cause we're gonna close this out. What's gonna end up happening though, what should happen rather, is you either need to let Dak kind of run a little bit, or have parts of the offense where if a play breaks down, he can move. Because it seemed like he was scared to do that, like I mentioned. And that might be the best part of the offense, is the broken play dynamic. Because them receivers, I'm not even going to say the receivers were bad. It's just they weren't tested. So that needs to happen. And two, hello? That needs to happen. And two, you need to get another quarterback. Like, because I've seen Cooper Rush. And if Dak is playing bad and you might need to have him kind of move around a little bit, there might be an opportunity that he gets hurt. And we need to get another quarterback. Because just in case something happens, there needs to be a quarterback that knows your system and knows how to play. And oh, by the way, it's funny that what's the dude's name? Kellen Moore. He's the quarterback coach now, because
yes, he's the quarterback coach.
Have we? Can we
move away from that?
Thank you, man. Because I was trying to think of something to say. I couldn't think of anything to say.
That's that. Well, no, there's something to say. We like Kellen, so we're gonna give him a job.
Right.
And he can stay in the Cowboy system purposes. He's so loyal. You know, he says yes, sir, and no, ma'am. We like that guy. Can't ever go wrong with him. He never disagrees.
Bears score a touchdown. There you
go.
They're kind of, well, at least they know what they're doing. Like, the rush is there, and I'm so glad I recorded both games because I might have to watch this half quarter over again.
Well, you know who I'm surprised has a job still?
Who?
Andrew Luck.
What did Andrew Luck do today, man? What? Because I missed that game. Did they win?
No, they lost, but it was by I think a touchdown or two.
Really?
It wasn't horrible. It wasn't a horrible score that they lost by, but I mean, I'm surprised he's still in the league, dude, after the past couple years, man.
Yeah, but he's been hurt though. Like that.
Yeah,
that's.
no.
He's been hurt though, man.
But what did he hurt? That's what I'm
shoulder.
trying to figure out. Like,
I think shoulder.
It took 2 years for that?
Yeah, because like one of them years he couldn't throw still. It was bad. Like he couldn't throw at all. It took a while.
Yeah, I'm just shocked that they were that loyal to him. To say, hey, look, we're going to keep you. You know, you know how the league can be sometimes, man.
Hey, man, that's the best that was the best prospect since Peyton Manning. So and we know how good Peyton Manning is. So if they get one Super Bowl out the deal, you know, it's fine. And if he's still injury prone, like I'm pretty sure the deal I'm pretty sure they can get out of stuff. But yeah, he's still a heck of a quarterback when he's healthy, when he's right.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I don't know if the Colts is the right team for him, man. I don't know if that.
We'll figure it out. Even though
a team that he'd actually do well with, rather.
Where?
He would do well but I know they have. I know they got Deshaun Watson, but he'd suit well in Houston. He'd suit well in he'd suit well in Pittsburgh.
How about that today? You struggled against Cleveland and didn't pull it out. But
what'd you say? Say again?
They struggled against Cleveland and they ended up tying the game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like.
Did you see Cleveland?
No, I saw highlights. I didn't see the because I watched I came home and I watched the rest of the Vikings game.
They man, bro. Yeah, Cleveland didn't look too bad, man.
That defense, man. That defense, and they seemingly have with Tyrod Taylor. They seemingly have a quarterback that knows what they're doing. That knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that's good. They're sitting. What's his name?
Telling you, man, that dude is not gonna. That dude is gonna fail. That dude is gonna fail. So we're good with the Cowboys. There's nothing left to say for this one.
Yeah, I think we're done with this, dude. Because there's nothing. I know in the morning I'll think of something else.
Yeah, there's gonna be a long. It's gonna be a long Facebook post on the chat,
right?
On the group or whatever.
There's nothing to say. Nothing to say.
Yeah, but I'm glad I was able to get the raw first impression of the Cowboys game as they lose 16-8, and that was a frustrating game if you're a Cowboy fan. So thanks for letting me get your thoughts on it, bro.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
All right.